analysis of beam. That is again static analysis. Static analysis of beams subjected to moving or rolling loads. Moving or rolling loads. That's mainly by using the influence line diagram. Whatever we have developed, the complete theory, whatever I have given. So you have to use that influence line diagram, you have to develop that influence line diagram and understand the beam. So here, moving or rolling loads are quite common, especially in the design of the bridge girders. Right? Wherein bridge girders as well as bridge girders means either highway girders, highway bridges, or railway bridges. Both it covers. Either due to railway traffic or due to our regular vehicular highway vehicular traffic. So they are subjected to moving loads, and the beams, supporting beams of that highway or railway track, we have to analyze for these moving loads. So basically we come across with two types of these moving or rolling loads. So there are two types of moving loads. One is uniformly distributed loads. That is one type. Another, a train of concentrated loads. Concentrated loads at fixed distance, at fixed spacing. So here the moving load, either it may be a uniformly distributed type and it can roll, or it may be a set of train of concentrated loads like this at fixed spacing, say x1, x2, and this load is also constant. So this is fixed one, fixed spacing, fixed magnitude, so it can roll over the beam. So these are the two varieties of loads we get, either train of concentrated loads or a UDL. So whenever this type of loads rolls over the beam, hitherto I have set the problem only for static loads at fixed distance only from end support. That analysis already you know. Now here, for moving loads, how to find the bending moment, shear force, as well as absolute maximum bending moment. So those things we will try. So for these moving loads, again we can analyze the beam. Beams only we have, beams subjected to either this type of load or this type of kind of concentrated loads when they are subjected to moving load either from left to right or right to left. So how to evaluate the various forces, synchronous forces developed in the beams, that we will examine now. So the various synchronous forces are the reactions at the supports, and at any section or any point, distance, some distance, either from left hand or right hand. If L is the span of the beam, yet at any distance x from one support, another support will be L minus x. At this point, what is shear force, what is maximum bending moment. Here there are two types of things. So one is how to find the maximum value of shear force and bending moment developed at the section X. Whereas in the other type of analysis, where the loads are all fixed, so the shear force and bending moment at a section, it cannot change. So it has to be having some value. But here, depending upon the position of this load, either moving UDL or moving concentrated load, the value of shear force and bending moment here it will vary. We have to arrive at what is the maximum value of shear force developed at this particular section. That's very important. So that is called maximum bending moment at a section or maximum bending moment at a section. This you can determine in two ways. One way is you have to allow these loads one by one to cross the section and place it in the beam and use the influence line diagram for shear force at that section. Can go on calculating the shear force developed. For all the cases, first you can place W3, others you can place it in similar fashion. Take that shear force standard influence line diagram for that first position, calculate shear force at this section. Next you allow this load to move. Then keep the next load. And other loads will be there as it is. They are different spacing. Again you calculate it. Then go on bringing another load like that. You place all the loads at this particular point either from right to left or left to right. So calculate that. Trial and error method. Whichever is maximum, you calculate. You have to do number of calculations and arrive at the maximum value. Second procedure is you have to use some criterion, right? So the criterion, I will tell what is the criterion, how to arrive at the maximum value. There also we have to allow one load one by one to cross that section, but instead of using influence line diagram and arriving calculating that value each time, we use a criterion, change in shear force we calculate at each time and arrive at the maximum value using some criteria. That's another method. So the things what we have to determine is maximum shear force at a section, maximum bending moment at a section, and maximum shear force developed. Because maximum shear force either it may be RA or RB. That's called absolute maximum shear. In the beam, for the design of beam, maximum shear will be at the support. So you have to find maximum RA or maximum RB for that given position of the loading. That position to get maximum, again you have to determine by trial and error process or using some criteria. Then next thing you have to determine is absolute maximum for the beam. That is for the design of beam, for this loading and for this span. What is that maximum value at any point? That is another thing that's called absolute maximum. One is absolute maximum bending moment, other absolute maximum shear. Of course, absolute maximum shear position is known, it's only at the end support. But absolute maximum bending moment, it is again at the center point, but which load has to be placed at that position, how it has to be placed, that you have to determine. That's another thing. Then at any section, how to determine the bending moment shear force. At any section, and absolute maximum bending moment, absolute shear, and regular shear force. These are the forces which we have to determine in the beams whenever they are subjected to these two varieties of loads. That's all we have in this unit 2, static analysis. So static analysis means only the forces, internal forces develop and reactions only we are determining. That's what I have told. We have to determine the reactions, moment of shear at any point, and absolute values for the design values. So these are the two things, or these two categories of loads when they are going over that beam, either from left to right or right to left. They will be one and the same, either you take left to right or right to left. So one thing you can just take it and evaluate. Now first we will take up how to find these values, three values, that is maximum reactions at the support and maximum bending moment and shear force at the support at any section and absolute maximum. So the three things what you have to determine are maximum shear force at supports at end support and maximum shear force and bending moment at any section. This is second thing. Any given section. Any given section. Px and Mx. Then absolute maximum bending. So these are the three things which we have to evaluate during the static analysis of these determinate beams when they are subjected to these two types of loadings. So first we will take up this UDL, right? Now we will take up or static analysis. Static analysis of beams, simply supported beam of simply supported beams due to moving UDL. Moving UDL. That's the first case we will take. So, and then static analysis means evaluation of these three. That you have to remember. And type of load is this. And this simply supported beam is, you know, it is having two supports, again supports, one may be hinge, another roller always. So, this is one. So, now, first, consider a beam or span L as shown in figure, subjected to moving UDL. Here, there are two cases again. One is that moving UDL length, it will have certain length. That length may be greater than the span of the beam itself, or it may be less. So these two cases you have to consider. That's obvious. So there are two cases here. Length of the UDL, it may be small than the length of the beam itself, or length of UDL may be greater than the span. If it is greater, then there is no problem in positioning the UDL. When it is greater than the span, the critical case is that the entire UDL has to occupy the beam span in order to achieve the maximum balance. That's obvious, right? It is obvious, well-known thing. So the first case, when the UDL length is more than the span, then the entire UDL has to be placed on the span. So the entire span has to be loaded in order to achieve these critical values. Critical values means maximum values. So moving UDL. So you can say there are two cases of UDL. Moving UDL of length small n, of length small n. So you consider a beam AB or span L subjected to a moving UDL or span L of length L. So there are two cases of UDL. One, first case 1, when L is greater than L. It is a possibility. So UDL, it will have certain length, and that length, it may be greater than the span of the beam itself. So in that case, case 1, first case, so to find maximum or A and or B. So I told you here what are the things to be determined during static analysis, or maximum shear force at the ends, or maximum reaction developed at the ends, and shear force and bending moment at any section, absolute maximum bending moment. These three things, how to evaluate, I will give you here. So then you can work any problem with numerical problem. Given span, given UDL length, given magnitude of UDL length, you can follow the same procedure and evaluate it. Now to find maximum RA and RB. So I told you, as I told you here, in this moving load case, you have to place the load because it is moving, you have to position the load such a way to get the maximum value. So to get maximum RA and RB, the UDL has to be placed over the entire span, like this. This is the position of the load. When L is greater than L, the position of that moving UDL has to be like this. So this is the moving UDL, which is larger than the span of the beam itself. That entire UDL has to be placed in order to get maximum reaction. These are all obvious things. So that you have to position. Then for this position, calculate RA and RB. That will give you the maximum area. This is as simple as that. It's all obvious things, right, for this particular case. So we find maximum RA and RB. So first is position of UDL has to be as in figure. So you have to place the UDL like this. That I told before itself. You have to determine the position using some criteria or by trial and error method. That's what I have told. Here you have to position it without, there's only one trial, that the entire UDL has to be placed. That's obvious. For this gives you the maximum value of RA or RB. So if W is the intensity or unit load, one unit, because unit influence line diagram they are using. So of course R it may be some magnitude, W per unit length, you can have it, W per unit length. So you have to place that. So you have to evaluate what is RA, RB. When load is like this, your value of RA has to be, this is span L, it has to be W L by 2. W into L is the total load. Correct? Intensity of load is W per unit length. L is the span. So total load is WL. Half that should go here, half that should go there. So that will be your maximum value. And the influence line, this you can determine either as it is by equation of statics or using influence line diagram. So the influence line diagram for RA, ILD for RA will be like this. You know, simply supported beam. Already I have given the value of RA and RB for unit load movement is in this fashion. This is like this. This is ILD for RB. And this is the position of the load. This is span L. This is span L. Therefore, RA you can find out this. Because you are placing the load like this, so you have to find the entire area, as I told you, multiply by the load intensity. What is the area of this? Half into L into 1.
L by
To load.
WL by 2.
So half into L into 1 is L by 2. L by 2 into W is WL by 2. Using influence line diagram also you are getting. As it is you are getting. So using ILD only we are doing all this. So using ILD, we are getting RA equals WL by 2, RB equals WL by 2. Because this area is also half into 1 into L, that is L by 2, multiplied by the intensity of the load. That is your RB. So RA, RB, you know. So this itself has to be maximum. So therefore absolute maximum reaction is also WL by 2 only. So first part is over. That critical. So hence this is maximum RA, this is maximum RB, and absolute maximum. That is your design maximum reaction or maximum shear force. That is absolute maximum shear is maximum of this. So this is positive, this is negative because RB is right side, so it is acting up downward shear on right side always is positive as by our same convention, so this is negative. So maximum negative shear is WL by 2, positive shear is also WL by 2, and maximum value is WL by 2. It's absolute maximum shear force will be W by 2, both positive and negative. So the first part is over. Now at any section, second, to find maximum shear force at any section. Right? So let C be any section, distance A from left hand and B from right hand. You can take any section in the B. Now, after evaluating reaction, now I am taking at any section or any point in the beam, what is the maximum shear force, what is the maximum bending moment. That's our second criteria. For this case only, case 1 only, when L is greater than L. So to get a figure here, the influence line diagram for shear force at any section, distance A from left hand, B from right hand, length is L. So the shear force influence line diagram is like this. So this is ILD for BC. So now to get maximum, there are two shears, negative shear and positive shear. This is A by L, this is B by L. That you know already. How to place the load now? So here to get maximum negative shear, I have to place the UDL like this. This is only thing. That the entire negative portion has to be loaded. Because here, anyway, length of UDL is more than the span, so naturally the other portion we have to place it out of the beam. So this is the position of load to get maximum negative shear at any section. This is also obvious. If you have anything, you can just come out. It cannot, you don't have anything. So to get at a section, at any section, maximum negative shear, when the length of load is more than the span, it has to be placed like that. It cannot occupy the positive side. Because if it comes here, the value will be reduced. Right? So that portion is positive, it will reduce. So the only alternative is this, and the entire span has to be loaded. So for this position, how that you can write it. E from right hand. So the position of load, position of UDL to get maximum negative shear, negative and positive shear force at C has to be as in figure. So this is influence line diagram for negative. We see negative. So this is the position of load. So for getting maximum positive shear, so it is the other way. So this is A by N, here, this is B by N, A by N. I have to place the UDL like this to get maximum positive shear. It has to be, because this is negative, this is positive. Well, no portion of this negative portion should be loaded by UDL. That's all. So the position of UDL to get maximum negative bending moment, negative shear force and maximum positive shear force has to be like that. The position of load has to be as shown in figure like this. For this position, we can find out the maximum negative shear, positive shear at any section. That is our second part, as I told you. Maximum shear force, RA or B, maximum shear force at any section or any point. First you have to get the position of the UDL. When L is greater than L, this has to be the position. So for this position, you place the load at this position and use that influence line diagram for getting the maximum value. Therefore, VC maximum negative will be, for this position, this area of the triangle. So here this is A by L. This is A. So half into A into A by L into W. That's all. Similarly, BC maximum positive shear. It is this area of this, that is half B into B by L into W. So you got maximum negative shear and maximum positive shear at any section. Then you have to find maximum bending moment at C, then absolute maximum. So that completes evaluation of all forces when L is greater than. That is for the tubular. So that you take next. So C, to find maximum bending moment at any section. This is also very simple. So same, this is your AB, span is L, this is the section C. At a distance, J, this is B. So again, you have to position the load. So here L is, length of load is more than length of span, so you have to place the load like this. You have to place similar to H. Load has to be placed like this. So when you place the load like this, then only you will get maximum value. All load has to be there. There's nothing better. So you have to just first get the position, then write the UDL for that particular influence line diagram for that, evaluate. That's all the simple procedure you have. So now this is the position of UDL to get maximum bending moment at C. So then the UDL influence line diagram, you can use it. So influence line diagram for bending moment at C is this, AB by L. This is AB by L. Load is like that. So find the area of this particular by the loading intensity, you will get maximum. That's all. First you place the position of the load. Here, this is the position of UDL to get maximum DC negative and DC positive. Here for negative or positive. And that is for position for maximum shear reaction. That's all. Here, therefore, MC maximum is half into L into AB by L, that's the area into intensity. Then you have to get the absolute maximum bending. So absolute maximum bending moment will always occur. For finding absolute maximum bending moment in the beam, two things you have to determine. One is position of load, another point where the load occurs. Here the points are known. Now maximum bending moment in beam always occurs at the center point. At that center point, how to place the load? So for that position, you place the load, then use the influence line diagram, calculate the bending moment value. That will give you the absolute maximum. That's all. The same procedure you have to follow for other cases also. L is less than L as well as train of constant. That's all. You have to follow these things very, very carefully. So there's nothing much here. They are all very simple, obvious things. So then now D case to find absolute maximum bending moment. So you can just say the absolute maximum bending moment, the absolute maximum bending moment in beam always occurs at center of span. Right? Always occurs at center of span. So position of load should be symmetric about center. Right? So here, since the load is larger than the span, this is the center of the span. Whoa. A, D, this is L by 2. So the load again, since it is larger than the span, the entire span has to be loaded. Position of load has to be that only to get maximum. So then use that influence line diagram or bending moment now at the center point. Earlier you used at the section, now it has to be at the center. Because always absolute maximum bending moment occurs at the center. With respect to that center point only, you have to place the loading. So load has to be placed there. So this value will be AB by L, that is L by 2 into L by 2 divided by L, that will be L by 4. So now this entire portion has been loaded. This is ILD for MO, fundamental center. So this is position of load to get maximum bending moment at O. It has to be like this. This is ILD for MO. So you can calculate the value of MO, which is absolute maximum bending moment. The area of this triangle, that is half into L by 4, right, into W is by that. That's the absolute maximum bending moment today. So this is about the analysis of beam subjected to UDL greater than span. That is for various things: absolute maximum bending moment in the beam, absolute shear force in the beam, and maximum bending moment and shear force at any section. Three things: absolute maximum shear force, that is support reaction, absolute maximum bending moment, and at any section, what is maximum bending moment? These are the three things which you have to take. 3 or 4 if you take it. So shear force you have negative and positive both. So both you have to get. So this is case 1. If I take case 2, then this topic it will be completed. Now you take case 2. You want to take it as separate?
Yes, sir.